I see on Facebook that people, they're disgusted about the crime that we have, so their option is to move away. No, we don't want you to move away.
Right.
We want you to be able to help solve some of the issues that we have in Baltimore. You moving away, those problems still want to be there for someone else. So come on now, we can definitely go ahead and give our input because, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we will definitely respond. Then we have someone here that can answer those questions directly. It's time to speak up. One of the things, your ethic reform from Councilman Ryan Dorsey.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that and about the ethics board.
Yeah, so we found out through this last round of issues with the previous mayor that our ethics board actually didn't, and this is how city government works, that only the mayor can appropriate money, didn't have money assigned for them to have investigators, and that the ethics board fell underneath the Department of Legislative Services that actually writes the bills. Councilman Dorsey has a piece of legislation pending in the city council right now to remove the ethics board from that, put it in the Office of the Inspector General that does investigations for ethical violations and misuse of funds, all that stuff in city government. And we're looking forward to having a discussion with him about that. I don't know if the IG's office is the perfect place for it to go, or if it should go on its own. We'll be discussing that through the legislative process to talk about that. But nonetheless, we know that we are going to move it, and we are going to put teeth in it to allow them to do their job.
Okay.
One way or another, we just have the devil's in the details. And listen, those hearings will be put out there on the internet. We put them on my Twitter, my Facebook. We email it out because we always want people to come and testify on those bills. We had hundreds of people come to City Hall on Monday night for a piece of legislation that I and Councilwoman Sneed co-sponsored about ending police lawsuit gag orders, right? And that was the great thing about it, is that the citizens turned out to tell us that we were doing the right thing and voice their opinion. We always welcome people to come in.
Okay. The consent decree, I think the public, they don't know which way they want to turn. If the police are too rough, they say the police are too rough. If the police don't do their job, they say the police is not doing their job. So people that don't have the correct knowledge of what the consent decree is, just give them a little brief synopsis of what it actually details.
So I think that this is where the confusion comes in, and I had this conversation with the police commissioner, even for the men and women of the department. The consent decree, we know that Baltimore's a unique place. We actually asked the federal government to come in because we thought we had issues without the police department, which they told us we did, and we're now on the federal consent decree to fix the unconstitutional, racist, biased practices that they have in the police department. And that has to be done over, in this case, it's like 5 years. But we know almost all consent decrees get extended beyond the first 5 years. However, what the consent decree does not say is that police officers can't go out and do their job. They can't arrest people who have guns. They can't arrest people who have committed crimes. They just can't do that in an unconstitutional manner, or because a person looks a certain way, or they live in a certain neighborhood, or they may have committed that kind of crime before. What has to happen, and I think it's about balance. And what people, Coach, you hear this, we often hear with everything, from sports to everything else, we hear from people talking about how in other cities they've done A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, right? So I like into that to politics and policy all the time. And I say, well, there's so many other cities that had a consent decree and drove their crime down at the same time. Baltimore can be the next. We just have to understand what it means, right? So in New Orleans, where the police commissioner came from, they had a consent decree and crime went down. Los Angeles has had one. Oakland has had one. Detroit, all these other places have had them and been able to fix both issues, because what they will tell you in those cities, and what my colleagues in government tell me from those cities, is that it makes the job easier when the community feels like they can actually communicate with the police department. So what has to happen, and what's now happening through the consent decree monitoring team and on the inside through the police commissioner and his team, is to explain to people what it is. Right now, the consent decree is solely focused on technology, but because before they're able to even do any of the policy changes, to change all these other things, they have to be able to have the systems to hold them accountable. And when you don't have that, when things are written on paper, that's where they're focused at right now. In addition to today, they was mandated that the training academy move to another location. It's moving to the University of Baltimore. That's what we have to do, in addition to changing the policies to make sure that unconstitutional racist biased policing doesn't happen, and that everything that the police department does is done in earnest and honesty through the citizens of Baltimore.
All right, so those of you who don't know, now you know. Lastly, September the 8th, we did the Mayor's Classic. It was held at Poly High School. You had 3 games. The first game was Lake Clifton and Carver.
I thought there was just one game that day.
Lake Clifton and Carver. Lake Clifton won that game 28-18. City and Patterson, with City upset Patterson 24-6. And I guess what everybody in Baltimore City, I guess, wanted to see, Mervo and Dunbar, which Mervo won 20-14. Great turnout.
Go Mustangs.
Great turnout. There were really no issues there.
No.
And everybody said, hey, you can't put our youth together for one big event and nothing happens. But, I was there with you along with probably about 2,500 other people.
3,000 tickets were sold. So.
3,000 tickets.
3,000 sold, another 500 watched from the grass.
Yes, so big event. And I know we've been using Poly, and I know you just mentioned hopefully the future home of a sports complex. We definitely need the sports complex. I know PG County has it. Mm-hmm. I think we are behind. But real quick, what do we have to do to kind of enhance, I want to say, all athletics in Baltimore City? Because I think with football, a lot of football coaches, we are behind other states.
Yeah, I think that, listen, we have to invest, and this is something that we're trying to figure out, right? As someone who grew up running track in Baltimore and has the scars on my knees from running at the 5th Regiment Armory my whole life, my life got a little easier my junior year when the PGC complex opened up and we could run states. We used to be at the 5th Regiment Armory. We have to invest in our athletics, and I know it's hard to think about that, especially when the school system and recreation parks needs money and for other things, right? And the school system needs it for education and for the buildings themselves. But I think that we have to figure out creative ways to investing in our athletics, because we know that that's the pathway or the sticky pad to get so many of the young men and young women to focus on their education, to understand their future. I always say that when I ran track at Mervo, yes, we beat everybody in the city very badly, by the way, but I also learned how to work as a unit. I also learned how to be a man, how to be a leader, how to lead groups, how to work with other people. Those are the things that Coach Hendricks and them were teaching us that we didn't even know that we were learning. And that's what these coaches out here are doing with the young people that they're coaching every day. We have to invest in it, and we have to figure out a way to do it quick to catch up, right? Because we have the best teams, we don't have the best facilities. For me in particular, as you know this story, when I went to Mervo, we didn't even have a track. Right, we had the best track team, no track. So we have to invest in our young people and figure out creative ways to invest in athletics and provide those opportunities, and put more pressure on our colleges and universities and other places around to continue to allow us to utilize their facilities.
All right, thank you so much, City Council President Brandon Scott.
Thank you for having me.
Hope this is not your last time on the show.
No, sir.
But thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take this commercial break. Commercial break, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
I love the way that you move on the dance floor. I love the way that you are. I love those sexy ways, girl. You're my superstar. I love the way that you move on the dance floor. I love the way that you are. I love those sexy ways, girl. 'cause you're my superstar. I love the way that you move on the dance floor. I love the way that you are. I love your sexy ways, girl, 'cause you're my superstar.
Make sure you show that ring.
Welcome back, Baltimore. Again, this is episode 14, Changing
14.
Baltimore. I'm your host, Harry Gray.
I'm Coach Sad.
All right, it seems like someone's birthday over. Is anybody's birthday over there? Hey! How old are you, 21? Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Come on, I'm coming over real quick. Haven't done this before. What's your name?
Stephanie.
How old are you, Stephanie?
21.
Happy birthday to Stephanie, man. They enjoying themselves. All right. We got right now up here our special guest, Coach from City College, Coach Michael Hamilton. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. We're going to get right into it. Last week, you defeated Patterson High School 24-6 over at the Mass Classic to be 1-0. So how does it feel coming off of that big win, and now you guys are actually 2-0 after beating Douglas?
Tremendous feeling, especially compared to last year, which was a struggle. But I'm feeling optimistic on this season. But like everyone, I try to remain humble, and I take one game at a time. But I was ecstatic, to be honest with you. I have been ecstatic. But I let that victory go and move on to the next week.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So your team seem like they're pretty, young.
Yeah, they are. We are. Over the last couple of years, we have lost approximately 18 seniors each year over the last 2 years, and had a dramatic impact on us last year especially. So therefore, we were bringing up a lot of young people from the JV that naturally we knew it was going to take a little time to get them accustomed to the levels of varsity football. So hopefully it's going to pay off. But again, like I said, we take it one day at a time and one game at a time.
Okay, who you got this week, Coach?
Well, we have Forest Park at home. We haven't played Forest Park in a number of years.
Wow.
I think the last time we played, Coach Barnes was the coach. And Coach Petrides naturally was coaching City. So it's been a number of years.
Yes.
Okay, so I know you guys are geared up for that. Something new for Changing Baltimore. Everything is Baltimore. And we want to highlight our youth and our men and women that are doing great things for our youth. And because of your win against Patterson, they were ranked number 5
Yes.
in the Changing Baltimore coaches poll. The upset went up 24-6. We have put you as Coach of the Week.
Changing Baltimore, Coach of the Week.
Yep. So we want to present that to you. Thank you. Quick speech.
No speech. I really, when Brother Pay mentioned it to me or called me and said you were the Coach of the Week, I immediately attributed that win to the young men that are out on the field. As a mentor and as a coach, my job is just to prepare them. And we try to prepare them to the best of our ability, but they go out there and perform. So I dedicate this to them. They're the ones that are on the field.
Gotcha. You got a question, Coach?
No, I just want to say, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I was at Poly under that Roger Renz regime when we used to go against y'all. So I used to see you across the field.
Yeah, thank you.
But I just think you guys are doing a pretty good job right now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And TJ was smiling ear to ear at that game, and he was just floating. I said, TJ, you're not even walking. You just floating. You on the air. He said, man, City just beat Patterson. I'm ecstatic. So I think it's good for the city, honestly, when all our teams are doing well.
It is true. To bring that respectability back to Baltimore City football. And I think it's no guarded secret that a lot of jurisdictions around the state don't respect us like they should. Because there's tremendous talent in all of our high schools in Baltimore City, regardless whether they win or lose. But I think now we're on the road to returning that respectability back to Baltimore City football.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you so much, Coach, for coming on, man, and much success this week. And I think in 2 weeks you had the Mustangs.
Yes, Lord.
So Coach Nixon told me to tell you to bring the band.
I will be there.
And they'll be ready for you guys.
And the band is revving up, and so are we.
All right, so thank you so much, Coach. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. We'll be back in 30 seconds with Coach Monroe.
Coach Monroe.
Coach Corey Johnson.
Coach Lawrence Smith.
Players, your parents to get maximum exposure.
When it comes to any of my video footage, only go to one person.
Brainstream Media.
Shout out to Brainstream Media. Shout out to Brainstream Media for doing my film.
Brainstream Media.
Shout out to Brainstream Media.
My name is Justin Leach. We're going to Frostburg State University for football. Team Brainstream.
Shout out to Brainstream Media. Best film in the state.
DeWitt Doss, Emerson Westside High School, Athletic Director with Team Brainstream.
Hey, this is Head Coach Julio, Head Coach at Forest Park High School. We Team Brainstream, man. Thanks a lot, Brainstream.
Shout out to Brainstream Media for giving kids the opportunity to get themselves exposed to college.
Hey, Brainstream Media, man. The best videographer in the area, man. You want sharp HD?
Welcome back, Baltimore. Changing Baltimore, episode 14. We're glad for everybody that's tuning in. Bringing Ray here, man. I guess this is probably, your second, third time here on the show?
It's my second time. It's a pleasure and an honor.
We're going to try to have him on a couple more times this year. Very, very important game this week. Changing Baltimore's game of the week. The Lake Clifton Lakers. We got them number 4 in our Changing Baltimore poll against the Mervo Mustangs. Ranked number 1 in the poll. Both teams are 2-0. Outstanding athletes. Talk a little bit about the game. Don't talk about strategy because I'm going back to tell Coach Nixon. So,
we just gonna go out there, have fun, and enjoy ourselves. I'm bringing back the 1975 Oakland Raiders. We come out there in black and white with sticky glue on our hands, on our gloves. So every time we touch the ball, it's not going nowhere. So we bring back some old traditions and we just go out there and have fun. Coach Nixon from Mervo doing an excellent job with their program. He turned the program around. I remember we used to just walk over Mervo, but nowadays he's doing an excellent job. I'm real proud of him at what he's doing. I tried to get him to come with me when he left Carver. I said, man, come get this gold and blue in your life. He said, nah, Coach, I don't feel like it. But, he's doing an excellent job with the program, and the program has come a long ways under his leadership. And so, we just going out there to do our best and, throw a little here, a little there, and go with the power I right 42 wham. Said no about that power I right 42 wham.
Yeah.
And we go out there have some fun.
Now he know he's not gonna run the power hour with all those athletes, man.
Power I right down the gut, baby. I ain't gonna hide nothing.
And let's talk about a couple of the ball players. I know Michael Gray right now is having a good season so far. What are the other players that's really doing it for the Lakers?
We have Kamani Barney, our big defensive tackle, 350, 6'4". Then we have a transfer in, Kawan McCray. Everybody was after him during the off season. He comes in at a quarterback and a wide receiver and an outstanding linebacker. For the last 2 games, he had about 10 tackles, 5 fumble recoveries. So he brings a different outlook to our defense. And so, we got some things. I ain't gonna tell you too much because you will run back and tell Nixon.
He gonna be watching.
Nixon called one of my coaches yesterday. Coach, what y'all plan to run? A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting game. It's a 6 o'clock game at Mervo.
Yeah, I always wondered why Nick make me a 6 o'clock game. Why can't we go back to the 3:45 game? Why you got to make me a night game?
Let me tell you, I think that's what the principal want to do is cut down some of those night games. But I think the night games itself is very exciting for the city. I think everybody's going to, be out. Good ball game. I know Coach said that, called me and said, man, get money out here, man. That's the game of the week this week, man. So anything for Coach Money?
No, what was it, Saturday morning, I think about 4 o'clock in the morning, I inboxed Coach Money and he said that he beat the team, the last team they played 38-6, but he said they played bad. And I just laughed, but normally, myself and Coach Money, we'll be up 3 o'clock in the morning inboxing, talking football, man.
Yeah, that's my time when I get the chance to think and just put a plan together.
Gotcha. Well, Coach Money, again, man, thank you for coming on. I want to say good luck on Friday night. It is good luck. Just don't score more points than Mervo. But I think it's going to be a great game, man. I believe a lot of college scouts should be out there, so it should definitely benefit both teams and Baltimore.
Yeah, because the fact that from where I heard already, Syracuse, UConn, Maryland, and Morgan will be at the game on Fridays. It's a good look for all kids in both programs because you never know who's watching and you never know who they're looking for. So for both programs, both set of kids, it's a great opportunity for them. And as long as we keep on pushing our kids to be better and to reach for the stars and say, look, I can achieve this goal, it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right.
Yep.
I agree with you, Coach.
Yep. So, Coach Money, actually, I want you to stay on for the closing of our broadcast because you may have a little input in this. But we're going to talk a little bit briefly, and I know says it all, man, it's a sore spot in Baltimore. We wanted to talk a little bit about transfers. It has helped a lot of programs in Baltimore. I think it has hurt some programs in Baltimore. And I think, looking at 2019, I think we had more of an influx of transfers across the city this year than we had in a long time. Say your opinion on how you feel about it.
Well, I just think that you win with what you have. I just don't believe in courting the kid, trying to kind of bait the kid. But everybody nowadays say, you just don't own the kid. I mean, the kid can go and play where he want to, and I agree with that. But I just don't believe that we should court the kid and try to debate him and trying to reel him in using some of these tactics that some of these guys are using to do that. But, whatever works for you, but I just don't agree with it.
I think Baltimore City needs to have a transfer portal. like the NCAA, see what kids are available and go at them. Back in the day, I think a lot of people fail to realize this, and they forget transfers are not something that just popped up 2-3 years ago. When you look at, the Dunbar Poets, when they had the national championship basketball programs, some of those guys on there were transfers, whether they were courted, whether they came, whatever the case may be. But the transfers has been going on for years and years. And I don't think it's going to stop. I know 5-10 years ago, you could sit back and say kids were transferring because they loved the way the uniforms look. I remember Roger Wren at Patterson was the first coach that I can remember that broke out the black alternate jerseys, the black Nike alternate jerseys, and they were playing down Utz Field at that time. And I said, woo-wee, them the black jerseys look good. I think that kind of drew kids. When Dunbar started to slowly win state championships, I think people started to go down to Dunbar. Everybody wants to be a winner. When teams start to get turf, hey, guess what? I want to play on the turf. Now I think the even though coaches may do a little courting, the biggest recruiters is actually the players. And a lot of these players will sit back and say, hey, you know what? We played together when we were in Pop Warner. Come on, play for it. I know I'm at Lake Clifton, you at Mervo, but come on to Lake Clifton with me and let's get this money. And they would talk good about the coaching staff. And these kids are saying, you know what? I don't feel like competing. I don't want to sit the bench, at a Dunbar or Mervo. So guess what? I'm going to go to Lake, play with my boys, and I may get some playing time. And in between that, we're going to probably win some ball games. So do you see that, Coach Money?
Facebook, Twitter is the most thing that kids recruit. Me, myself, I have never been a coach that go out and recruit. If a kid want to come to me, it's perfectly fine because in front of my name it said coach. Right. So whatever I have, or whatever I have to do with a kid to build a kid up, to make him a player, that's what I do because in front of my name it said coach. So if I go out and get the best player, I'm not coaching. I'm just taking somebody and throwing them out there and say, go do what you do. But when you could take a kid that can't chew bubblegum and walk a straight line, and by his senior year, he's an All-American or a first-team person, that means you did your job as a coach.
You did your job, yep.
That's my opinion. But, these kids, what you just said, these kids talk, come on, man, come with me, and they come. But I'm, me, myself, I have never went after a kid. I had parents come, why don't you come get my kid? Why don't you come get my kid? If you want your kid to come to Lake Clifton because of me or because of our academic program, come on. But I'm not going to come and try to recruit your kid because at the bottom line, you trying to be his agent instead of him let him be a kid and enjoy life.
I think that, it's just ironic that coach is here because, the longest tenure head coach in Baltimore. There's no other person better to ask that question than Coach Money. So, I just think it was well articulated.
Yep. So we're about to close out episode 14 of Change of Baltimore. But before we do, I want to say condolences to the Emerson Red Storm family. They lost the kid last night, Cordell Joyner. My condolences, and Changing Baltimore staff condolences to the Red Storm and to Cordell's family. Also, apology to a coach that I had a little verbal disagreement with yesterday. We all going to have our disagreements and our opinions, but it definitely takes a mature individual, a man, a woman, to say, hey, I apologize, maybe I was wrong, or maybe I took it to a level that it shouldn't have been taken to. So definitely apologize to that coach. You know who you are. But Changing Baltimore, man, we got to continue to get better. Come on out to the games this week, whether it's, a 3:45 game or whether it's a 6 o'clock game, come support these youth who's doing the right things in Baltimore, and just continue to support. So again, this episode of Change of Baltimore has been brought to you by Most Famous Seafood, Pulaski Highway, Brainstream Media, Tone Drone LLC. I'm your host, Harry Gray.
Co-host, Coach Said.
And we are out.
Changing Baltimore.
Hey riders, give them some room. Hey riders, I'll say wait. Hey riders, where you at? Where the fuck you at? Hey riders, represent high. Where the fuck you at? Right about now, I'm about to wild this bitch out. If you drunk right now, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Where the weedy weed at?